Greetings and welcome to AlonzoBash podcast, where art and culture meets activism. In this episode, Alonzo chats with Washington, D.C. cultural icon Ras Ledge about music, culture, and the powerful legacy of D.C. Go-Go. Known as the creator of Regg Go, a unique fusion of reggae, dancehall, calypso, funk, and DC's signature go-go rhythm, Ras Ledge breaks down how Caribbean sounds helped shape one of the most influential music movements in the nation's capital. In this episode, Ras uncovers the Calypso roots within DC go-go music, revealing surprising connections between Caribbean rhythms and the heartbeat of Washington, D.C.'s street culture. He also shares the story behind the most sampled go-go song of all time and why Southeast D.C. remains the true cradle of go-go music. From performing and producing to representing DC culture worldwide, Ras Ledge reflects on his journey becoming a cultural ambassador, bridging Caribbean and go-go traditions while keeping the music alive for new generations. This is a deep cultural conversation about history, rhythm, identity, and the global influence of DC's homegrown sound. Just in case you missed it, check out Alonzo's interview with Lord Nelson as he takes us back to the early days of Calypso. Real people, real conversations. AlonzoBash podcast starts now.
Greetings and welcome to AlonzoBash podcast. I'm your host, AlonzoBash. And as I've always, man, like I said, legend upon legend. Today's special guest is one of the pioneers of the DC go-go / reggae fraternity. I mean, he created his own genre, as we would call it, reggae. Did I say correctly? Reggae.
Regg Go.
Regg Go, there you go, Regg Go music. And of course, he's going to elaborate a little bit more what is Regg Go music, sorry.
Yeah.
So, man, he's here, man. Ras Lidj, what's up, boss?
Blessed, AlonzoBash, man. Give
Hey,
thanks.
man, I mean, they messed up, the genre. I mean, reading the notes and I don't know why I messed up. My apologies.
No, Regg Go is just the fusion of roots rock, reggae dancehall.
Okay.
And when I say reggae, I like to pull out the culture of reggae, the real roots and culture reggae.
Yeah.
So roots and culture reggae dancehall linked with the Washington, D.C. go-go beat.
Okay.
And of course, when I say that, I know because you have a large audience and a large, group of following, basically Caribbean-based, we
Yeah.
have to define what is go-go music because in the Caribbean, when you say go-go, especially they think go-go dancing, but that's not it. In
Yeah.
Washington, D.C., we have our own music here that's like reggae music is indigenous to Jamaica, as with Calypso and soca indigenous to, Trinidad and the other soca islands. Go-go music is DC's music, like that. So when you say go-go in this region, we're talking about go-go music.
Yes.
I want people to be mindful of that, not go-go dancing. It's roots rock reggae dancehall linked with a DC go-go beat, which gives you Regg Go music.
Yes, I.
Thanks.
But thanks for the breakdown, man. So before we get started, I definitely want to get into your background story. So you're born and raised where exactly?
I'm born and raised, believe it or not, right here in Washington, D.C., Southeast Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured that, but I don't want to stereotype, you know?
No. But what happened with me is culturally, give thanks to the Caribbean and namely the Rastafari way of life and Rastafari culture because it came in a time where, in my life, in a time where DC was a hotbed for a lot of things,
Yeah.
Not so much on the positive side. And Rasta came in and take on the Rastafari way of life. And I learned from the elders, the Rastafari elders, and they teach I and grow I under the Rastafari culture. And I take on that way of life and live it fully until today. And it just sent me on trotting down my own road like that. So as I was a musician and musically already, playing in go-go music, certain things I couldn't go back to do. And as we get into it, you'll see how go-go music forms up itself and fit up itself. I couldn't really fit into that because now as a Rasta, I got certain responsibilities.
Yes.
So, and certain things that I have to stay in order with. So I found myself on tour with reggae groups like the Itals and other good, Rasta reggae groups. And just learning and getting, and the Rastafari elders made sure that I get the teachings of like the early DJs that going as far as back as like Stitch and Machuki, right up to Brigadier Jerry, Charlie Chaplin, and even, U-Roy before that. when I said I wanted to DJ. And even before that, I don't know why, man, I've always, all my life, even as a young youth, been attracted to Caribbean culture and Caribbean music. My first wife was a Trinidadian.
Okay,
I
nice.
went to Trinidad and Tobago for the
Yeah,
first time.
yeah,
And yes, I know the Red House, I know the
yeah.
Quincy, I know Frederick Street.
Okay.
I went all those places there. It was 1989.
Yeah, man.
It was 1989,
Right,
huh?
that's it, right before the coup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to Trinidad then, and one of the things that really take me over musically when I was there, you know, Trinidad has what they call a maxi taxi or what
Yeah,
they call a minibus,
yeah, the mini
right?
bus. Yeah.
So
Mm.
where I stayed, I didn't stay in a hotel or resort. That's one thing I don't do when I go to Caribbean. I'm always in
Nice.
the communities. My ex-wife family lived in Pitibu, Sawa.
Pity Valley. And no, it's sour?
Sawa,
It's sour.
Pitibu.
It's sour.
It's
Yeah.
Sawa, yeah. I'd come off the hill, go down, and we get on the minibus going downtown.
Oh,
And at that time, it was
Red Valley.
Clement Irie,
Yeah.
right? Because we don't have that here in DC where music is playing on the minibus.
Yeah.
And to all my DC peeps watching this, you would understand this. This saying is a big minivan that's
Yeah.
carrying you up and down the stretch of Martin Luther King Avenue or Minnesota Avenue or 8th Street. It's
Mhm.
people personal vehicles that's taking you up and down, and you pay money to get on,
Yeah.
and you get on and off anywhere. So this is the minibus in Trinidad. But
Mhm.
Clement Irie had the big tune at that time. Me the bun, you the cheese, most come between. Me the
Yeah.
king, you the queen. That's so, and you know how the speaker and sound system is coming from the minibus, right?
Yeah, man.
Man,
Mention that, man, because for the listeners, we're actually working on a production sometime in the near future, actually to do a story on the history of the minibus culture, what we call maxi taxi culture.
maxi taxi, yeah.
Because that culture in itself, some people may even look at that culture, but it is culture because I'm going to tell you why. As a teenager going to school, that's how we was introduced to reggae and dancehall, if to be honest with you.
Okay,
Because, I mean, most
okay.
of the time at that time, Calypso is, the predominant culture. But the youths at that time, the way how we was exposed, because remember this is pre-YouTube and all these things, right?
Thank you.
So the cassettes or the songs that came from Jamaica, the minibus, that's where we heard the song. That's where we heard the "You're the bun, you're the cheese, must
Cheese
come
must
between."
come between.
And that is
So
what
this is long before Shaba even bust. I think around that. I remember going to UDC at that time. This
okay.
was 89.
Yeah.
I was going to University of District of Columbia, and I
Mm,
remember somebody give me a tape,
yeah.
and Shaba didn't even. This may have been around the time of Wicked in the Bed or before Wicked in the Bed. But I
Mhm.
remember learning the lyrics to, he had another song that was, hey,
Mm.
why don't you take up a rock and take up a soup and
Well,
rungo? It was
yeah,
fresh.
big
So him and Red Dragon had the fresh.
yeah.
So dancehall music and reggae music, and even again, Yellow Man, there was an album, and my ex-wife, mother's house, she had a Yellow Man record.
Mhm.
All his music take me up as I was in the height of playing DC go-go music.
Yeah.
So coming back to DC, I
Mhm.
cried in Piarco Airport because I didn't want to come back. But
You're a good
coming
one.
back to DC
Yeah.
at that time, playing go-go music, and this is, a very good era of go-go in the 80s.
Mm,
I started telling my band, then I worked with a band called Physical Wonders. That was my band.
okay.
And I said, hey man, there's this music coming. It's like go-go, but they call it dancehall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nobody wanted to hear me. They would hear me a little bit, and it wasn't until Shaba Bus mainstream
Yeah.
that they then turned to me and said, hey, they used to call me by my right name, then Ray. They used to say, hey, Ray, you want to do that song, Sean
Yeah.
and Johnny Gill? And at
Mhm.
that time, dancehall was so that I was so into dancehall culture. You
Yeah.
remember during those days, you couldn't go on stage and DJ another man lyrics. You
Yeah.
remember those were the days when the Baco used to fly. So I used to tell him about writing our own songs and writing our own originals. And they just didn't want to hear me because here now we're getting into go-go music.
Yeah.
Go-go music is built off of the party sound.
Mm.
It's a beat that doesn't stop, okay?
Yep.
When you understand go-go music, you go to a go-go show,
Mm.
you have to really experience it to understand it. But the beat don't stop. Even when you change it from one song to another, the beat don't stop.
So
We
pretty
just
And dancehall, you consider that the rhythm don't change. That's the same
The
rhythm.
rhythm don't change, right?
Yeah.
Well, the difference is here's a significant difference. I was going to do a video on this one day too.
Okay.
Reggae culture grew away from bands like Bob Marley and Third World and these groups like that.
Yeah.
Away from bands,
Mm.
reggae culture and especially dancehall culture grew up on sound system. Here in DC, coming out of the funk era of music, we grew up on bands. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
You have a DJ who can play like DJ Cool, he would be a club or cabaret DJ.
Yeah.
But mostly when you go to go-go, it's about the live band experience. It's not no selector. We
Mm.
barely need a DJ in the club for the night,
Yeah.
maybe. When the bands are changing over, you can play a tape or CD
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so in the go-go party, the
Mm.
bands don't stop between songs. As you say, the rhythm don't stop.
Yeah.
Right? The bands don't stop. We keep the beat going,
Mm.
and we
Yeah.
change into the next song. But
Mm.
the next song that we come in with, if it's not an original, and more time is not, what we specialize in is playing a lot of cover tunes
Yeah.
or you're using the hooks from
Mm.
hot songs,
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
it hip hop or any music. We'll
Mm.
take that hook and make that hook hot
Right.
over the beat.
Right.
And that becomes our little signature creation by using the hook from any artist.
Mm.
I'm putting it to what we do. We have some foundation bands who made a lot of original music.
Mm.
Yes. But the thing is when you use the hooks, people can sing along.
Okay.
People can because you know that song already. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
If it's a 50 Cent and we played You Can Find Me in the Club, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? You sing that hook along while the band playing it, and you have the go-go beat in the background. Well, I didn't particularly want to do that. I was so engrossed into reggae and dancehall culture. I was always one who wanted to write my tunes and write originals. So that's where reggae music became different. But the Caribbean to me, the Caribbean has always had a big influence inside the DC go-go culture from
Yes.
years, even before I started. Yeah.
Yeah. You did. We did. You did mention that before. But before we even, of course, when I saw your clip on IG. So let's start with that. You mentioned the influence of Caribbean culture in go-go music. But before we get into that, tell me a little bit about the history of go-go. Because I mean, for folks like myself who don't know much about the culture, we know the big names, like the Chuck Brown, the rest and stuff like that. When was go-go itself established? When created or, really became popular?
So I personally don't want to go on record to give an exact date because there's big debate about that right now.
Okay. Yeah.
But go-go music, as I said, go-go music is a child or the derivative or a derivative of the funk music era.
Okay.
And in the funk music era, you had Parliament Funkadelic,
Yeah.
Confunction, Marquez, all of those groups, those bands.
Yeah.
In DC, of course, we had Chuck Brown,
Yeah.
which is like our Bob Marley here.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Chuck Brown learned to play the guitar while he was doing prison time in Lorton. Came home,
Really?
started playing. Yeah, yeah. He came home
Mm.
from prison and he started playing with a Latino band
Yeah.
first.
Mm.
It is said that he became very, very impressed with how the Latino people use the percussion, the
Yeah.
timbali and the congas and everything
Mhm.
to keep the beat moving. And that's something that he brought over with him when he started his band, Chuck Brown and the Soul Searchers,
Okay.
playing go-go music. Now, he started his band, Chuck Brown and the Soul Searchers, and again, they would do cover songs and just
Mm.
play music. The thing to understand about DC artists, going back to people like Duke Ellington and Marvin Gaye.
Mm.
Marvin Gaye was Marvin Gaye, and Motown was Motown. But when Marvin went to Motown, he brought that DC vibe with him, that
Mm.
DC swing.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
same thing. Jazz music was jazzing. I'm told I went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts for 1 year.
Okay.
And in my study of Duke Ellington, I'm told that what Duke Ellington brought to jazz was jazz artists that before had been composing jazz music and jazz standards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Duke made that music to go along with the dancers and what people were doing, dancing in the jazz clubs. We have a thing here called a pocket beat or swing. We
Okay.
swing the beat. You know what I mean? You know, the way the hi-hat, the way the foot drum hit,
Yeah.
you know, and go-go is a combination of the drums,
Mm,
the congos, the cowbell. Those are three eccentric instruments. The
mm,
timbales is a layered instrument,
okay.
especially from back in the day.
Yeah.
You have a thing that's out today as the youth make trap music.
Yeah.
We have a thing in DC called bounce beat,
Mm,
which is more led by the timbales. The bounce beat is led by the timbales today, but original go-go is laid down by the drum beat and the
mm,
congos, those two percussions with the congos. And
mm.
you call that, once you get those fit, that's the lock.
Okay.
Your bass player adds a layer inside of that,
Mm,
you know, the bass thumping with the foot drum.
yes.
Your tambourine percussion, your tambourine is playing along with the hi-hat of the drum,
Yeah.
okay? And that's your pocket lock right there. Once you got that going, your pocket is locked. You can layer anything you want to musically on top of that pocket. Your keyboard players,
Mm,
guitar players, your horn players, they can come in with any music, any melody they want on top of that pocket, and it's go-go. You know what I mean? We
nice.
can play any song we want.
Right. Right.
So that's the go-go. Now getting started, Chuck Brown had that. EU, Sugar Band EU. And while I speak about Sugar Band EU, they
Mhm,
were around playing already along the time when Chuck Brown was starting, to my
okay.
overstanding.
Mm.
Chuck EU was more of a rock-based group though. They loved rock music. So
Really?
you would, yes, so you would hear rock music influence into what Sugar Band EU was doing. Many
Okay.
people watching your podcast, as we know, Alonzo Bashment podcast is nice out here on all social media platforms, and we want people to watch it.
Yeah,
So
guess I
as you know, as y'all are learning this and watching this podcast, you
yeah.
may be familiar with Sugar Band EU from the movie School Days when
Mhm.
they made the song "Doing the Butt." You
Yeah,
know that,
big tune.
yeah, Sean from the movie School Days, and you know he's still touring, give thanks, and he's
Mhm,
popular off of that. But in his young early years,
yeah,
he was playing the go-go, and
yeah.
he was out around the same time with Chuck was breaking,
Okay.
and he was more rock influenced.
Uh,
Trouble Funk came out. There's a group called Trouble, one of the most sampled go-go groups, the most, not one of, the most sampled group by hip hop
really?
music. The
Oh,
most sampled go-go group.
so
They
far?
did, yes, they did work with Luke, Two Live Crew, and all kind of artists have sampled. I saw Big Tony
Yeah.
put up a gold record and he posted it on social media. Big Tony is a bass player and a band leader for Trouble Funk.
Okay,
He
okay.
posted a gold or platinum record online the other day that
Yeah.
he got, I think, from Kelly Rowland,
Okay.
where she had sampled a Trouble Funk song.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of rappers,
Mm,
hip hop rappers, sampled go-go music early in the day. They sampled Trouble Funk and Chuck Brown. Then
yeah,
we get to, of course, our home base band, which is Rare Essence. So these are the big three or the big four:
yeah.
Chuck Brown, EU and Sugar Bear,
Mm,
Trouble Funk, and Rare Essence.
okay.
Rare Essence came out and they just, man, Rare Essence, we all in DC love Rare Essence because they just funky. They
Yeah,
just, it's just the way they groove. Everything they do, they just have such a groove. Now, similarity again
yeah.
to the Caribbean culture.
Mm,
Rare Essence has a guy who talked for them, and I'll always talk about him.
yeah.
He most reminds me of a Daddy U-Roy from that
Okay.
early toaster.
Yeah.
James Funk is what we call, we have rappers in go-go bands, right? But
Mm,
go-go bands are mostly led by talkers, people who can
okay.
just, they see you in the club and they greet you while the music is playing. Oh,
Yeah.
what's going on, Lonzo? I see you, Bashman. Thank
Eh,
you so much for letting me get on that podcast, good brother. We
yeah.
doing good numbers with this podcast right here. Wait a minute, hold it down. Bam. The
Uh,
talker can hold a conversation with you like that
while
all
the band is
day,
yeah,
okay? And the people are still grooving. He's
yeah,
putting on Alonzo Bashman podcast. He's
yeah.
talking about the girls from the girls crew, you know, who came to the show. He's talking
Right,
about everything.
right, right. Let
James
them
Funk
prove it.
from Rare Essence is the one with the most microphone savvy ever
Wow.
for me. Yes, their groove is so funky. You know, God rest his soul, his brother was named Foots, the drummer for the
Okay.
band. They were a family band. They was one of the first ones to do business correctly. Then after that, you have coming into the 80s now, you have some young guys who started out on, and everybody that you see sit down on TV commercials
Yeah.
took off with this band. They
Wait,
started out on tin cans and buckets.
before, hold on,
Junkyard band.
before we move forward, Ray Essence have a song, Iko.
Iko.
Sorry, Iko. That
And
was
somebody,
mm,
go ahead.
that had some Caribbean influence as well, right?
Iko
Iko.
is a Caribbean influence. Your
Yeah.
grandma and my grandpa sitting by the fire. My grandpa told your grandma we're gonna set this
Big-
place on fire. Hey now, Iko on deck. That's
Yeah.
the Red Essence tune, and they had another one. They had another one. Somebody reminded me of that. I missed it. I go with the in crowd.
Yeah.
I go with the in crowd. I go with the in crowd goes.
Mm,
Those Red Essence tunes, to me,
yeah.
now a lot of go-go bands think when they just say that because they don't dive into the Caribbean culture, I think, as heavily as I do.
Yeah.
When they play this song, they'll tell you they play in reggae.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the tracks, the music and the little keyboard sound that they create, it's
Yeah.
pure Calypso. It's pure
Mm,
Calypso. Yeah, it's very Calypso. So Essence came out with that. And it's important to remember too that James Funk was a DJ. So
Yeah.
I imagine that he was digging in the crates to
Right.
find these kind of songs.
Right. Yeah.
EU, I mentioned EU. They
Mhm.
made a hot, heavy hit called Go Juju Go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, yeah. And Junkyard Band, like I say, they started out on cans and buckets before they went to real instruments.
Really?
And they,
Oh,
yes, they from the, one of the most well-known communities in
yeah.
DC, Barry Farms. But
Mm,
they started their whole show stringing together. Some people remember Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids and things
yeah.
like that. Junkyard Band started out very early in the 80s, probably around 1980, 79 to 80. And
Mm,
they were playing, they formed all of their all instruments, their drums, everything
yeah.
from buckets, like big paint buckets. They
Yeah.
cut them in half to get the, as it's funny, as we do in the Caribbean with steel pan. You know how we take steel pan
Yeah.
and cut the drum to form the different tones?
Yeah. I've seen the bucket bands already, man. I've seen.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what Junkyard Band did,
Yeah.
same way. So
Mhm.
those are the relative correlations to me when I look at it, looking at both cultures.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You mentioned Chuck Brown. Chuck Brown himself also had a song that had was Calypso, has some Calypso influence as well. Run Joe, wasn't it?
Big tune.
Yeah.
Big tune. There's a guy running for office today
Mm.
in DC today that has gone back to grab that song because his
Yeah.
name is Joe. His
Uh,
name is Joe, and he's running for what is it?
yeah.
DC Council at Large. So
Mm.
he's using the moniker Run Joe. Run Joe. Now, for you, you can appreciate this. You're Trini, right?
Yeah, man. 100%. Man.
Of course, the red, the white, and the black. So Louis Jordan was a Trinidadian, I believe, Calypso artist who
Mm.
made that song Run Joe, and
Yeah.
I believe around 1940 or 40 something.
Okay.
Me and DC never knew that because when Chuck Brown came out and brought it to Go-Go,
Yeah.
and over the Go-Go beat, it was everything to us. And, you couldn't tell us until we start learning today.
Yeah.
You have to literally go online. A DC dude would always be mad at you and ready to argue with you.
Right. Right.
No,
Right.
man, that's a Chuck original. You
Yeah.
have to go online and pull up the Louis Jordan version to show him
Yeah.
that was an original song, but it was Mo and Joe had a candy store, making a fortune behind the door. The cops ran in and then Joe ran out. Brother Mo, he began to shout,
Yeah.
run Joe. And then you have the hook in it. Joey, 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 Joey. Now you see how I'm saying it? I'm
Right.
singing it like Chuck Brown in a go-go way. If
Yeah.
you pull up the Calypso song, it's much faster.
Yeah.
Louis Jordan says, Joey, 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 Joey. When Joe had the candy store, making a fortune behind the door. Like the Calypsonian was saying,
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So you can see what I mean. That goes back to when Chuck would have slowed it down
Right.
and
Right.
put it in the pocket
Mhm.
and run the lyrics right over the pocket beat.
Right. 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 Wow.
That's go-go.
Man, you got the history, bro. I tell you, you got the history. That's why I said this. That's why I told you, we gotta sit down and talk about this, man, because these are stories that I've never heard before, and I never really knew. And to be honest with you, like I said, Go Go. I'm familiar with the music, but I never knew the history the way you broke it down.
Yeah, and I guess that's one of the things about me, Ras Lidj, being Rastafari.
Yeah.
One of the things that a fire burn in DC. As Rasta, we say I and I. I and I is always one. I don't care if you come from Trinidad, Jamaica, anywhere in the Caribbean,
Mm.
Africa, or Black American, DC, wherever you're from. From we Black, we one.
Yeah.
So being in DC, I've faced this segregation with like, and especially playing music. Are you from Jamaica? Are
Mm.
you a Jamaican?
Yeah. Yeah.
In building reggae music, Reggae music,
Mm.
this can work. We're the Jamaicans in the band. This can work. That can work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People want to bring separation and division. And
Yeah.
even in the go-go culture, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nah, man, we don't mess with that. This go-go over here, we
Yeah.
don't mess with that. And even how we segregate about where we live. Back in them days, people of the Caribbean culture mostly would not move to Southeast DC.
Okay.
Southeast is migrated right now because
Yeah.
of gentrification.
Yeah.
All kind of people are moving into Southeast. It's important to note too that Southeast DC relative, this is something that's relative to me. It's
Yeah.
like how you would see a Jamaican and you can tell a Jamaican from Kingstonian or they're always bossy. They come from Kingston, a
Yeah.
Kingston to come from. Southeast is kind of that way too, because one
Okay.
time it was
Mm.
almost a scar or black mark or ugly scar to say you were from Southeast, that
Yeah.
section of the city. Because it
Yeah.
was known as being that bad section. Now
Uh,
today, everybody want to claim Southeast
yeah.
DC. So I never
Is
stood.
Trinidad considered Southeast DC? The Trinidad
Trinidad is Northeast.
that's Northeast.
So you have an avenue, Trinidad Avenue.
Yeah.
That's Northeast. And it became notorious in the 80s,
Yeah.
because, one of the biggest guys who was known and went worldwide across TV for the
Mm.
drug runnings in the 80s, Rayford Edmonds. That was
Yeah.
he was all over DC, but that was basically one of his big bases was Trinidad Avenue. And
Yeah.
that's Northeast DC.
Yeah.
But as a Rasta man, I've never been for this separation or division of
Yeah.
people or our culture. And I've always liked musically and branded my style in Reggae and building and merging our cultures together so
Yeah.
that people could know. So that's why it was important to me to
Mm.
do that video where I'm talking about, hey, the Caribbean culture, if y'all don't know it, is inside of the DC go-go scene.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why I did it, if you
Mm.
don't mind.
Course.
Why I did it in the timing that I did, because recently I was nominated for with a DC Go-Go Award.
Okay, yes.
Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Give thanks as Artist of the Year. And they
Yeah.
were recognizing me and the people in my category because
Mm.
we're the ones who've done music outside of just the go-go realms itself.
Yeah.
Me going, first of all, being involved in the Caribbean culture, but going as far as Jamaica, Africa, and there's a few other artists who've done that and done things with their songs and music. So
Yeah.
and the guy who actually won, he was recognized and winning because he actually wrote songs and wrote original music that
Mm.
could be played and presented on radio.
Yeah.
So he did win the category, and he's one of our more popular, well-known go-go artists of today. And in presenting and me being in that category, it felt good to be recognized because coming from go-go
Yeah.
in the early days, as you can see, and like I said, my band in the 80s, you had two big main clubs in DC.
Mhm.
You had the Black Hole on Georgia Avenue,
Okay.
and you had Cherries in Southeast DC.
Okay. Mm.
Cherries was my second home because my band, Physical Wonders, we were managed by the owner of Cherries.
Okay.
So we were the opening band for every event. And with hip hop artists came there, Heavy D and
Yeah.
the Boys, everybody. We
Mhm.
were always the opening band because our manager owned Cherries.
Yeah.
And then people knowing me from that, from Southeast, from my high school, Baloo. That's why, again, I'll go back to say when we say Southeast, we come from, like a Jamaican would say Kingston, we come from.
Yeah, man.
Baloo Senior High School and Southeast DC is the cradle for creation of go-go music and go-go artists.
Okay.
It started Trouble Funk,
Yeah.
Rare Essence, Junkyard Band,
Mm.
uh, EU Sugar Bear, all original from Southeast DC.
Oh,
So that's why we walk with such a big pride on our shoulders a lot of times.
yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes that pride gets us into trouble, you know what I mean? Too privileged sometimes.
Nice, nice, nice. You mentioned Africa. I know you went to Africa, Ghana to be exact, and you did the video for All to the East, the EP. How was the experience in Africa?
Pardon the interruption. Now a word from our wonderful sponsors.
Imagine floating on the Chesapeake Bay, waves gently lapping, stress melting away. Now picture this, a spa but make it nautical. Welcome to Be Well Boats by Floating Needs. We're not just boats, we're floating sanctuaries of bliss. Drift away your worries with a massage while cruising the coastline. Choose from dockside, open water, or beachfront wellness experiences. Aromatherapy, hot stone massages, henna, scalp treatments. We're redefining relaxation. Why settle for ordinary when you can float to extraordinary? Perfect for birthdays, anniversaries, bridal parties, even waterfront weddings. Located at Canton Waterfront, Baltimore. Ready for your aquatic escape? Call 844-727-BOAT or visit floatingneeds.com. Your relaxation awaits.
Shipping nightmares? Not anymore. Let me spill the tea on stress-free international shipping. Jay's Hassle-Free International is the game changer you've been waiting for. Air, ocean, Caribbean, Dominican Republic. They've got it all covered. And those special rates? Absolutely amazing. Full container or just a corner, their prices will make your wallet do a happy dance. No more headaches over complicated shipping. Just call the shipper lady at 443-927-5816 and watch your worries vanish. Trust me, once you try Jay's Hassle-Free International, you'll wonder how you ever lived without them. Wave goodbye to shipping stress and hello to smooth sailing. Serving Pennsylvania, Delaware, and the DMV. Remember that number, 443-927-5816. Your stress-free shipping journey starts now.
Man, Africa was everything for me. Africa was everything. It was a lifelong dream. As you can see here in my basement, my workshop is painted red, black, and green. And that's something that my dad did in my house when I was a kid. I remember
Yeah.
as he used to love to burn corn, he painted our living room back in the 70s, red, black, and green. And I've just always been Africa minded. And in doing music, I always said I wanted to go to Africa first before I go anywhere in the world. A lot of people look to go in Europe and
Mm.
busting big over there. I wanted to go and do it in Africa.
Yeah.
So when I got to Ghana the very first night, through our sister Pepe, big up Pepe, I ended up on stage in a club called Jamrock. And that's owned by a married couple, a brother from Jamaica, a brother from Yard, and his wife
Yeah.
is Ghanaian. They
Okay.
own Jamrock. So I ended up on stage there that night in Jamrock and doing some songs, working with the band. I did my rendition of Bob Marley, No Woman, No Cry, and some
Mm.
Buju songs because Buju is one of my favorite. And I just performed that night. And believe me, after that night there, I could have left and went to, y'all could have carried me home to heaven because my dream was fulfilled. But it just so happened that it was awakening because I understood my mission. I went from Accra to Kumasi. I
Mm.
went back a second time to Ghana where in 2021 because the song All to the East, the commissioner for repatriation from the Rastafari Council of Ghana,
Okay.
he actually named that song All to the East, my song, as the official theme song for repatriation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he named it as as the song was doing, I got interviewed on GBC radio.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, Alonzo, none of this was planned.
Yeah.
This is divine things that just happen by walking and meeting people on the street or somebody
Yeah.
saying, come here. I was in a bank when the lady met me. I was in a bank. I ran into the bank to do an interview for a brother, Reggae Bandwagon, because he couldn't hear me on the street. So I
Okay.
ran in the bank to do an interview, and he's in Kumasi.
Yeah.
That's the Ashanti capital. So I had spent some time in Kumasi, And I met him while I
Yeah.
was shopping. He said he wanted to interview me. So by the time he called me for the interview, I had left my hotel and I was on the street. And he was like, I want to interview you now. We're live. So I ran into the bank. You're not supposed to be on the phone in the bank. But the security guard told the bank manager, no, he's cool. He's doing the interview.
Yeah.
And the lady who was at the ATM said, oh my God, he speaks so well. Who is he? Where's he come from? I went there with like 300 flash drives and about 600 CDs, and
Oh, yeah?
everywhere I went. Yeah, I give away my music. I don't
Mm.
sell nothing. I'm
Mm.
giving it away. You see what I mean? This is me distributing my music. I
Yeah.
gave it to everybody. So I gave her one, and
Mm.
she works for GBC Radio. Now, GBC Radio and TV is like our Good Morning America here.
Yeah.
When they broadcast from GBC, that goes out to all over England and Europe and everywhere.
Yeah.
So she couldn't, because I was leaving, coming back home the next day, she couldn't get me on the TV,
Yeah.
but she got me the radio interview. And that was based off the interview I was doing in a bank for Kumasi. So, man, I played places in Ghana I never knew I'd play, and working with the bands there. What was
Yeah.
great too, the musicians there pick up the music like this, bam, and they
Yeah.
can play.
Yeah.
So again, that's the African root. You see what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And that's something else that go-go has that could be and should be acknowledged more.
Yeah.
Because of that drum beat, the way I described it and the way we put it together, it's very, very African in nature. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
That's what they
We
call it.
just have it, yeah, we just have it what we call it the pocket, and they
Yeah.
coined it here in DC. But to me, it's relative to our reggae one drop.
Yeah.
When we use our timbales, it's relative to our steel pan or our calypso music, and especially the music that a lot of the sounds, the keyboard sounds that the reggae, the go-go bands like to use. If they don't know, then you have some people who went after reggae and dancehall hard after I started. You know, not giving myself on a pat on the back because I had to just stick straight to my guns and never quit
Yeah.
through everybody saying it wouldn't work. And after everybody started seeing me making moves, back in the days, you never had a go-go band other than those songs really venturing out in
Mhm.
their set to play reggae music.
Yeah.
Now today, almost every go-go band has a reggae song in their set. The
Mhm.
difference with me and them is my set is 70%, 75% reggae music. I can play a reggae song straight,
Mm.
and then I'll flip it, the same song, and put the go-go backbeat underneath. As vice versa, you never had reggae bands in and around the DMV touching go-go
Yeah.
because they didn't know about it, they didn't understand it, they were omitting the go-go culture.
Yeah.
But now you have your wine festivals that happen during the summertime in around DC.
Yep.
The wine festivals have started to hire go-go bands.
Yeah.
So now you have the soca bands and the reggae bands. Some of them are adding go-go songs to this set. What's my guy, Mikey from
Yeah.
Trinidad?
Eclipse Band. Yeah.
Eclipse Band. I heard the place. I don't even want to call the place. They play a big wine festival every year. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to call their name because to me, they won't book me because I play go-go, but people have petitioned them for
Yeah.
my band to come. I
Mhm.
heard Mikey and them went up there and did a go-go set. They played
Yeah.
like 5 popular go-go songs. And the next year after that, I didn't see Mikey band play that festival again
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
all.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's the wine festival that people look at as one of the biggest. They're a winery,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. I'm
know.
very familiar
You
with it,
you
but
familiar. So
I, yeah.
I support the
Yeah.
other wine festivals now that are inclusive of us and our culture respectfully.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I actually did. This way back when I had the online station, Mad FM. We used to broadcast from up there way back when. This is like early. This is like 2010, 11, sometime around there.
nice.
Mm.
I've been trying to play this since that time, and I've always wondered why I got to fight. Give shout out to Lenny Curlew, who always will give me a bly and bring me on stage with him. Lenny
Yeah.
Curlew always make a place for me, and
Yeah.
I
Good
want to
bridge.
shout out to Secret Garden Wine Festival because they respect our culture. Festive, what is it?
Festival.
Festive seasons. They call it festive seasons now.
That's Lenny. Lenny.
Lenny Trench. He always makes a place for me. Always, every festival, and also Trio Fest. Big
Mm.
up them. And these are the festivals around town that
Yeah.
respect our culture, man, and what we bring, and just don't, you know, make us inclusive. And it's not just about them selling their wine and their liquor. And
Mm,
they don't, you know, and not just using our culture for their purpose.
right.
I got to big up all of those festivals there. Yeah.
Yeah, man, for sure. All right. In 2020, you received the Honorable Cultural Ambassador for Pan African Federation Movement. How was that that honor? I mean, how was that recognition?
That was again coming back from Ghana.
Mm,
After the Ghana, I was documenting everything in Ghana, my
yeah,
movements there.
yeah,
And coming back from Ghana, once I came, and I didn't know, I had a brethren with me, God rest his soul, brother Nsilo and his
yeah,
empress, Nada
mm,
Leje. They were there, and they were there on the ground when I reached Ghana to make sure that I get the full Ghanaian experience and everything, because they had been several times. And I remember Encilo saying to me, I'm just watching the rebirth and the awakening of Ras Lidj, you know, and the
yeah,
fact that when I came out of the slave dungeons out of Cape
yeah,
Coast and Elmina, I remember he was in the gift shop, and one of the things that he bought me was his big long knife bayonet. He said, "You're gonna need this when you go back home." Coming back, I guess because I was documenting,
yeah,
the Pan-African Federalist movement recognized me, and they're all of the part of like the Marcus Garvey UNIA
yeah,
Association,
yeah.
a division of that. They
Mm,
just recognized myself along with others as a musical cultural ambassadors because of the fact that it meant something to them
yeah,
that I had moved the music, two genres. I merged two genres of music and
mm,
moved it all the way home to the continent.
yeah,
They recognize that. And I tell you who was a visionary too for me within the Caribbean culture, even before that, bless up to the Pan-African Federalist movement,
yeah,
Sig
man.
Bay and all of the brethren there. I gotta say, shout out them and bless them up and give thanks for that honor
Yes,
in naming me as a cultural ambassador. But all ambassador, Jah rest his soul.
mm,
Tony Java used to put on the DC area reggae awards.
yeah, yeah.
And in 2007, I received an award for him, the Dennis Brown Achievement Award
Okay, wow.
for Regg Go music. And I was like, because man, I had been kicking into the door. You gotta remember, it's the thing that touches me is that I come from Go-Go where I'm used to big crowds. In DC, Go-Go, you draw big crowds,
Yeah,
especially during my time.
yeah,
You know, if you had during my days in Go-Go, if you do 300 a night, that's a small crowd. That was a small crowd. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Back during my day. So I'm used to that. I'm used to being paid like that.
yeah,
So for me to spin off from that, begin something new,
yeah,
and have to start over, rebrand myself and showing people, hey, I'm a Rastafarian. My
yeah,
name is not, you know, my name is Ras Lidj now.
yeah,
You take off a lot of financial, you take off a lot of what you had, that limelight and that steam, to
yeah.
come back and build it back and get the people to overstand it. And in the Caribbean culture, when Caribbean culture was so strong inside of DC, you know, when you had a lot of West Indians actually living in the inner city,
Yeah.
you know, hey, it was represented. You know, we had clubs like Kilimanjaro. So to be from DC and to do a thing like that, and for Tony Java to come and say, hey, you know, I see and hear what you're doing. And he would do the build up to his award show. He would have shows, and he put on a show one night in Zanzibar for
Okay.
artists who were a part of his show.
Mm,
And I never forget, my band went in there and just turned up like unbelievable. And everybody was like, whoa,
mm.
what is this? What is this? And that year that was 2007, I received the Dennis Brown Achievement Award
Okay.
from Tony Java. So I was just, you know, that one was exciting for me too. And I
Congratulations.
would say that, man, give thanks. I would say this. I'm a big lover of dancehall music and roots rock reggae in itself. I love the vibration that it gives me and how we feel when we dance to it. But I will say this one thing about reggae music, and it hits and I love watching it from the stage. And you'll see many people, if you watch my videos, YouTube or anywhere, there'll be people walking to the front of the stage like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What did they just do? What is this? You know, the element of surprise
Yeah, yeah. The
hits
song.
them, and the beat of the go-go beat gets under the rhythm of what you know of a Bob Marley song, No
Yeah.
Woman, No Cry. And again, you just locked into that pocket and you can't help but move. So
Yeah.
that's the magic in Regg Go music. That's the magic, man, that, I possess with it.
Yeah,
I
I've seen you, even do dancehall with you know, dancehall covers, I would say.
Yeah.
Who is, your band members. I noticed one of your band members. I mean, I definitely want to talk about this particular individual, a good friend of mine, and so there's a lot of history there, man. Miss Anita Malcolm. I'm gonna let you, edify who I'm talking about.
All right. So we'll get to the last name Malcolm shortly. First, let me say this. I'm
Yeah,
blessed to have my wife, my Empress and Queen, Harmony Black.
yeah,
She's a singer in my band, and she came to the band bringing so she's
yeah.
the queen of Regg Go music.
Nice, nice.
And speaking of Anita Malcolm, which Go-Go don't and won't give her the recognition that they should because many of them still don't know the history.
Yeah.
People think that a group named Pleasure was the first all-female go-go band, which came
Mhm.
about maybe around the late 80s or the 90s.
Okay.
Pleasure.
Pleasure. Yeah.
But in the early days of Rare Essence, there
Mm.
was a band out called Ginger.
Ginger.
Okay? Ginger. Yes. This was early, and it was a female band that was getting started, never lifted off the ground, but it's well noted that they were the first female band of go-go. And they were one time managed by a Rare Essence manager.
Okay.
So Anita Malcolm as a young drummer
Yeah.
then. Remember what I told you about Rare Essence and Vibe and their group?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anita Malcolm has that Foots element to her
Mm.
from Rare Essence. She has Foots was the drummer.
Okay.
Again, God rest his soul, he passed away.
Yeah.
But she has that feel and that Foots element coming from Go-Go.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
she's just a well-rounded drummer altogether. She's just and you playing go-go music, and Imma say this, this is another parallel. You know this too.
Mm.
If you hear reggae music, right?
Yeah.
You can tell if a band is an authentic Jamaican reggae band or they're a band that comes from America or somewhere else by the way they play reggae, right?
Yeah. True. I mean,
Same thing
you
with go-go.
UB40 would be a good example of that.
Right. It's
Mm.
the same thing with go-go.
Yeah.
You can tell in go-go who grew up in the inner city of DC playing go-go and people who learned go-go later in life from a later era of go-go, or they may started playing go-go from deep in Virginia or somewhere else in Maryland, or because that inner city sound. Let me just say this: Anita Malcolm has that.
Mm.
Now, let's come to the Malcolm part. She, like I,
Mm.
spread her wings, broadened her horizons,
Yeah.
left away from go-go, started playing various musics.
Okay.
She buck up and meet her husband,
She's
the
also a
legend.
bad
Huh?
singer. She's also a bad singer too.
Yes, people don't know that about her. She's
Yeah.
a very, very good singer. That's something that she keeps reserves and she
Yeah.
does it as a business because
I found it out recently when I was doing some research when I interviewed, the legend himself. But continue.
she's an excellent also. She can be like a band leader, a band director.
Yeah.
And I thank her and her husband for that. I'm gonna speak on her husband in a second because my forte is I'm a good lyrics writer and
Mm.
I'm a good showman. I know how to put on a show.
Yeah.
Okay. To run a band is a different animal. You got to understand music and know all different elements. You got to hear things when you're running band. Anita Malcolm sits back there. She can hear everything and
Mm.
she knows how to that's just another thing she bring, her vocals. She
Mm.
can bring her band leadership to an organization. And that's something that I didn't know when she first came, but
Yeah.
I'm blessed because she added that to the group,
Yeah.
right? And as I said, as she spreaded her wings musically, she comes into contact and meets her now husband, and they've been together, I'm assuming like 30 something years
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Since the 80s.
But her husband is the legendary reggae hit maker who
Mm.
you did a episode on, Call Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
Call Malcolm, Fatty Boom Boom, No
Mm.
Gesturing, Miss Wireways, Kuna Munu, okay? A reggae hit maker.
Yeah.
So now I have around me this kind of leadership and influence that can help enhance what I'm doing. They see what I'm doing in my vision. And because Anita has been on the side where I've been in Go-Go,
Yeah.
and her being with Carl so long and being so heavily involved with reggae for over 30 plus years now and all her experience. Musically, we merge and it just helps to make the reggae sound, man. It really helps to make the reggae sound. I'm blessed. I'm really blessed. Carl will come in and we don't define positions as manager or this and that. Sometimes I guess I wish we could. You know what I mean? It could help to firm the things up more, honestly, but
Mm.
his leadership and his guidance, just being there. Me and him call and get on the phone and talk for hours, and me. Yeah, I do think I won't take that from myself. I can be a songwriter. I've written songs. I've written all my originals.
Yeah.
But man, when you get on the phone with Carl and just have a conversation with him, the
Yeah.
way he can come up with songs just like off his head and his way of building like
Yeah.
lyrics and just things was, he can just say things and I'm like, whoa, whoa. I don't know whether to pick up a pen and write down what he just said or just
Right.
digest it. It's
Yeah.
just, man, he good with that. So that's a very good thing to have. And yeah, like you said, you got Anita Malcolm as my drummer.
Yeah.
She will also come in on the harmony with my singers, Harmony Black, my wife, and the other singer I have, Lisa. And having Carl in rehearsal, they stress harmony.
Yeah.
They stress making sure the harmony of the group is right. So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely.
Nice. Wow. So much history, man. All right.
So much history.
Yeah, man. So you know what? Before I move forward, you know who you remind me of?
Who is that?
Chuck Fender, the artist.
I
Yeah,
knew you was gonna say that already. I knew you.
man. You can be like his uncle or something.
2 times I gave you 2 funny stories where that came up before.
Yeah.
Um, I was in Jamaica. I always used to go to Rebel Salute every year. Tony
Yeah.
Rebel is one of my favorite artists, and I've been a big supporter of Rebel Salute. I'm a
Okay.
little mad at him because I petitioned him to get on Rebel Salute. I had people hunt him down. And I
Yeah.
just want to be that band from here to play Rebel Salute one day.
Right.
Anyway, I met a guy down there one day. I
Mm.
think he was vending at Rebel Salute.
Okay.
And I must have told him, I said, man, do you know who you remind me of so much? I don't know which artist I said that. I said, you really look like, just say I said Cartel. You really
Right.
favor Cartel. And then we moving around. He came back to me. He said, he stopped me. He said, yo, you say I favor Cartel. Let me tell you who you really look like. And I'm thinking he joking. He said, no, you really look like Chuck Fender, right?
See?
So, and then I played festival down in I played a festival in Virginia
Yeah.
Beach Reggae Fest. I
Right.
played that down there one year. And
Mm.
I once lived in Greenville, North Carolina.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's these sisters who came up to support me. I know one of the sisters, and she brought some other sisters who should have remembered me from the community.
Okay.
She brought them to the festival with her.
Yeah.
The girl runs up to me straight. And when I'm vending, let me plug myself. I'm one of the only artists out here and around here who still carry my merchandise. I'm a higgler. I'm a vendor. Anywhere I go, I carry my merchandise. I
Nice.
bring
Yeah.
it to the world. You know what I mean?
Seen that
I
some.
sell it. So I got my big 10 by 20 tent and I'm out there vending before I go on stage, right? The girl runs up to me and grabs me and says, oh my God, Chuck Fender, can I please get a picture with you? And I thought sure she remembered me from when we lived around each other in Greenville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
But no, I've heard that a couple of times, man.
See,
That's cool.
Yeah, man. Big up Chuck Fender, man. He was one of the very well, I didn't really interview him on that particular interview, but in the early years, my radio years, he was one of the first artists that I really kind of met, and really kind of give me the inspiration to really pursue media like that, Chuck Fender. Man.
Yeah, that's good. Because I heard he's a very Ivy brethren, real cool.
Yeah, man. Really cool, man. Really cool people.
I've always heard that about him. Yes?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. So this part of the podcast is called 2000 Questions About Me. I'm not going to ask you 2000 questions, obviously, but it's based on a book that I brought a couple years ago. So I'm going to ask you to pick a number from 1 to 2000, and the number that you pick will be the question that's asked out of the book. So give me a number from 1 to 2000.
613. 613.
613. Oh, man, you want the people that go way up there, man. All right, 613. Let me see. Boom, 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 boom. All right, 613. Have you ever played Nah, I think I like this one. This one I ain't got. Yeah, give it. Is it? You know that game Sudo? Sudo? Sudoko.
Sudoku?
Sudoku. Yeah. Have you ever played
Uh,
Sudoku? And on a scale from 1 to 10, are you an expert and how good are you?
I
You-
would be a novice. I've looked at it and I've always wanted to get into it, but it looks complicated.
Yeah, I never played it, man. So I will give you a bonus. I'm gonna give you a bonus number, man. Give me another number from 1 to 2,000.
I give you another one. Okay, let's say 23. I'll take 23.
23, 23. Let me see. Boom, 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 boom. All right, 23. Who are your favorite writers?
Chancellor Williams,
Yeah.
because I love his book, Destruction of the Black Civilization. And before the black version came out, I'd say Napoleon Hill, because I read his book, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, man. Good book. Mm.
I like Think and Grow Rich. There's quite a few others locally, Got to shout out my brethren from the go-go genre, Cato Hammond, wrote a few great books. Yeah, those are a few. I'd have to go back into my Harlem Renaissance era to go with, because I did theater, so I'd have to go with like Lorraine Hansberry and people like that.
All right. What floor is yours?
I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you for
Mm.
bringing me on this podcast. I want to thank everybody, all my Reggoers, people who support Reggae music. You can follow me, and it's 3 G's, 2 G's for reggae and 1 G for go-go at
Okay.
Reggae Music.
Yeah.
REGGGO is 3 G's. Remember that. REGGGO.com at
Mhm.
Reggae Music on your social media. What do you call it? TikTok, and what's the other one? IG. And
IG.
it's Ras Lidj Reggae on Facebook, RASLIDJ Reggae, Ras Lidj Reggae on Facebook. So I want to thank everybody. Please, please, please continue to support this podcast and support our culture and reggae music and DC go-go music. Support Black culture on the whole. This is the time. You know what I mean? Unity and unification is a must, people. I don't care how grievous it may seem, like people may think and believe that we can never come together. It's the power of one. And I don't care. Everybody can't be a musician. Everybody can't be an artist, a poet, a writer. Some of you are just blessed to be good at what you are. A nurse, somebody who helps somebody out, somebody who works in the government. Be great at whatever it is that you do, and find us to support us, and we'll make sure that we support you. Keep this love going around. That's the best that I can tell you.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of my band members that I didn't get to mention on guitar, Shannon on keyboards, my conga player, Slow Mo. I think I mentioned Lisa Lyrics, my singer. Of course, my wife and Empress Harmony Black. Those musicians who have played with me and helped me out in the studio and filled in when the other musicians couldn't be there. Thank you all as well. And do please support, especially within the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, Baltimore included, support Caribbean reggae music and all kind of music. We have to grow in strength. We have to grow in numbers to continue to exist around here. Support, support, support. Please, God bless.
Yes, I well said, man. Well, once again, man, give thanks for your contribution to the arts and culture. I definitely appreciate
Stick
it.
up here 1 second. I forgot one of the greatest bass players around here. He not only plays for me, he plays for all the other reggae bands around here. Dwayne DC. Big up yourself, Dwayne.
Well, make sure I don't want to leave nobody out, because
Big up Dwayne. Yeah, can't forget about Dwayne.
All right, man. Well, give thanks, man. Once again, man, Ras Ledge, man. Much love, much appreciation, man. And keep doing it too, man. I must say, people, also, you're a very cool, humble guy, man. I think I met you like twice before. And the last time I met you was at Bar Vegan when we had that event there.
Yeah, the event for Jamaica Relief Fund, right?
Yeah, Jamaica really fun, man. So I was one of those. Yeah, I like to give people their credit and their flowers when it's due, man. You're very humble, very approachable. I remember we started reasoning. I told about the podcast, and you're like, "Yeah, man, you was excited about it,
Thanks.
man." And then I reached out.
And we didn't mention our brethren. We
Who's-
talk so much about go-go and reggae, but I gotta give a shout out to my brethren who did reggae and hip hop. Big up Mr. Notch and Eddie Shine, born Jamaican,
Yeah.
DC on. DC
All right.
owns. Big up them too. Yeah.
It crossed my mind while he was talking, but I try to remain on task. But yeah, big up Ed Lee Shine, man. Actually he's gonna be released this interview with gonna be released this season coming up. Very good story. And like you say, you'll pay millions to see them guys perform together, yeah?
Definitely. I would pay millions to see them brothers come back on stage again, man. Sometimes music takes us down the road when we have groups like that where
Yeah,
we
man.
find ourselves separate. As I was talking about unity, things
Yeah.
happen and people do this. But as you can see with the older hip hop groups, even the older reggae music right now,
Yeah.
people love the foundation artists. No
Yeah.
disrespect to the trap music and things that's out there, but people are reaching for the foundation artists like Carl Malcolm and all these foundation artists of reggae, 90s reggae dancehall artists. That's what the people want. Same thing with groups like Born Jamaicans. You guys are stronger together than apart, man.
Yeah, man. Great.
Come together. Yep.
Really nice. That'll be a nice show too.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yes,
We're going to keep the energies around here in the DMV. You got to remember one thing about us in DC. Check this. I know we got to run, but I want to say this. One thing about DC, we're not the capital of a state.
Yeah.
We're the capital of a nation, the entire country. So the things that we do here are very relevant, should reach out and must reach out because people come in here today. People come here all the time to see what's going on in Washington from Capitol Hill. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, man.
again, I borrow from Tony Rebel two things. Tony Rebel said, with a nice place to live, sweet jam down. The only problem is dollars not run. With a sweet place to live, Washington. You see, the problem is the politicians. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
an original song by me called Tour Bus, right?
Yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead. Go ahead, finish up. I want
No
to
political business that have we under straps is go-go music that put DC on the map. Another song by Ras Lidj. Bless up. All right, I won't interrupt anymore. I'm stopped.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ras Ledge, man. Respect.
Bless up yourself, man, every time.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap on this episode of the AlonzoBash podcast. Thank you for tuning in and rocking with us. If you enjoyed today's conversation, leave a comment and let us know your favorite episode so far. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to help the podcast grow. You can catch the AlonzoBash podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and even on Amazon Alexa devices. Just ask Alexa to play the AlonzoBash podcast. Until next time, stay inspired, stay connected, and as Alonzo would say, stay focused on your goals and dreams. See you on the next episode.
Well, I'm talking about all to the east, all to the east, all to the east. Won't you look to the east? Come again now. All to the east, all to the east. Say what? All to the east. I want you look to the east. Hey, Mama Africa, she calling you. Mama Africa, you hear her calling you. Mama Africa, she's calling you. Mama Africa, you hear her calling you. Mama Africa, around the corner, y'all. Mama Africa, in Gambia too. Mama Africa, down Sierra Leone. Mama Africa, all over Africa. It's just all to the east, all to the east, all to the east. I want you look to the east one more time. Come on. All to the east, all to the east. Say what? All to the east. I want you look to the east. Mama Africa, she calling you. Mama Africa, oh well, I got to get there. Mama Africa, you know I'm gonna be there. Mama Africa, you should come on along. Mama Africa, oh, cause nothing could be finer. Mama Africa, within the Black Star Line. Mama Africa, leaving out the Anacostia. Mama Africa, to the coast of Ghana. Yes, indeed. All Senegal, Nigeria, Sudan, Algeria. What's happening, fam? All to the east, all to the east, all to the east. Look to the east, all to the east,
Pacha Domo.
Yeah, mom, in the May. Yeah, I said, baby.
Yeah, Regg Go. Go with reggae from DC, Washington, DC.
Oh, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, you media. Media, with the TV that Google Party.
Go on a reggae. Fused together.
Yeah, they are fused together.
From DC, Washington, DC.
Oh, Mammy Mutio.
Now you been give Rasta man to make me jump to this. Just all to these. All to these. All to these. I want you to these. So come again, just all to these. Say what? All to these. Come on. All to these. Look to these. Mali. Malawi, Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, for sure. When I get into the east, I want to see Egypt, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda. Sit down, let's have a feast. All to the east, all to the east, all to the east. I want you to look to the east. Hey. All to the east. All to the east. Say what? All to the east. Oh, when the east is in the house, oh my God. Brethren, sister, you don't see after so many years of separation, Ethiopia and Eritrea come together as one, and happy with Nobel Peace Prize for that one. I'm a sitting Ganalo. Jah Rastafari. Wait a minute, said all to the east, all to the east, all to the east, look to the east. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. I shall never give up my continent for a country. Africa is for the Africans. Those of us at home and abroad. America has 50 states. Africa has 54 countries. That's just great. Sure. Mozambique, Angola, and tell Cameroon and Niger, Regg Go music, Ras Lidj is here. Mama Africa, she calling you. Mama Africa, she calling you. Mama Africa, Southern Sudan, Mama Africa, South Africa, Soweto. We hear her calling you. Mama Africa. You don't know I'm home. Mama Africa. Guinea, Bissau. That's what we do. Hey, Togo, we good to go. You don't know. Mama Africa. I want a night in Tunisia. Mama Africa. With Zambia and Gambia. Mama Africa. And go check Rwanda. Mama Africa. Mama Africa. Sierra Leone. Mama Africa. Mama, I'm home. Mama Africa. Botswana, Nigeria. Africa. Mama Africa. Congo, Libya, Liberia. I hear ya. Madagascar, Mozambique. Djibouti. Mama Africa. Chad. Mama Africa. Gabon. Mama Central, North, South, East, and West. Mama